So math is my life right now. I'm not a math person, and I never would have thought that I would actually say the words math is my life. But this semester has been insane. So I dropped out of college. Oh goodness, I dropped out to get married. So it was a decade ago, and always wanted to go back, but it never really happened. It was never the right time. So now I am back in school to be able to support myself and the kids. And I have not taken a math class in 12 years. Even back then, math wasn't really my thing. There was no natural aptitude for math. I got to college, had to go back and take remedial math classes in order just to be able to pass, and then fought my way up through trig, I think. Yeah, I took trig before, barely passed that. And it's been 12 years. And so this semester, I'm having to take business calculus. Now, they lied about this class. I'm so mad about this class. On the class list, it says mathematical analysis for business. I'm like, well, that doesn't sound too bad, right? How bad can it be? Buy the class, sign up, log in, and I'm like, the book says calculus for business. I'm like, oh, this is calculus. This is calculus. And I haven't taken a math class in 12 years. So, math class has been my life recently, doing it all the time. It's really interesting trying to do it online while homeschooling the kids, while nursing the baby, literally like sitting here taking the classes online and trying to figure out my homework while breastfeeding a child. It's just insane. It's insane. But yesterday I took the midterm and passed the midterm with a 79.12. I worked hard for that 0.12, so we are so counting it. And that means that we're now halfway through the class, halfway through the semester, and still averaging a very high B in the class. So far so good, but I am eating, drinking, sleeping, breathing calculus right now, just trying to pass this thing because it's taking me a lot more effort to put into this than it would take somebody with more natural aptitude, or who wasn't already going through trauma brain, or didn't have their life falling apart, or any of the other stuff that's going on right now. And that, hadn't taken their last math class 12 years ago. So I'm putting a lot of effort into this, putting the kids in bed, staying up until midnight, working on math, right? I have started dreaming about math. I'm seeing math in my dreams now. And okay, so what does this have to do at all with the theme of this channel or with the theme of surviving abuse, recovering from abuse, refinding yourself? What does that have to do with any of that? Well, funny story. Last night I was dreaming about doing math and thinking f of x, but every single time I saw f of x, instead of with an x, it was with an ex. And as I was waking up, I thought in my mind, how sometimes when you're waking up, you like hear things or have moments where you learn something. I thought, my name is f of x. And I woke up and I sat there in bed and I'm like, okay, this is really geeky, and I never thought that I would be making math geek jokes or math geek analogies, but there's actually a lot of basis here, and it's kind of interesting. So I want to show you for a second how this is so ridiculous, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to show you the calculus of abusive families. All right, let's look at how this relates to math, because math is my life right now. All right. Let's run this. All right, so how does math relate to abusive marriages? We have one variable, and on this channel I focus on the dynamic where the husband is the abuser and the wife is the abused. I understand that that's not always the case. I don't have any experience to talk about anything else. This channel is based on that premise. So if you're gonna yell at me in the comments, then go someplace else, find a channel that's about that. That's just not what I do on my platform. Okay, so He is the only variable that really exists. He is X. That is what everything is about. So we've got him is X. And then we've got her. She is a function of X. She is not her own entity in and of herself. She is just a function of whatever is going on with X. So when he changes his mind, when he changes his mood, when anything changes with that, he expects her to change. He does not see her, cannot see her. In an abuse dynamic, he cannot see her as separate from himself. Otherwise, abuse wouldn't occur. Abuse cannot occur if he actually sees her as a separate entity. She is just a function of him, just an extension. She adds a little something, she's a little bit different, but she is just a function of that. So if we are graphing this, then wherever he is will determine what happens with her. So let's just say it looks like this, okay? At any given point, if he is here, then that's where she's gonna be, because she is just a function of him. She does not exist outside of who and what he is. And then if we take it a step further, we can say that the children, now how he's going to see the children at any given time and how he's going to respond to them are going to be based on how he feels, which isn't just him by himself, but it's usually how he feels about her at any given time. So remember, she is a function of how he's feeling and what's going on in his life and whether his needs are being met or not. That's her. She is that function. The children are an extension of that, or a snapshot about how he feels about her at any given time, which means that the children will be F prime of X. So if he's feeling this way right here, she's there too, and the children are there. If he's feeling this way, she's there too. I can't draw. The children are there. It all goes back to him. It all goes back to who he is, what he's doing, how he's feeling, because everyone else she's just an extension of him, just a function of him. And the way he's going to feel about the children are just going to be a snapshot of how everything else is going together. And so parenting is going to change depending on, at any given point, the instantaneous rate of change of how he is feeling about the relationship and about her. So, super ridiculous, funny, geeky, whatever way of illustrating just how my brain's working right now, of illustrating the point that I keep trying to drive home over and over and over again, is that in an abuse dynamic, he doesn't see you. When you're saying, why does he do all of this? Why does he treat me this way? It's because there is no you. It's because emotionally in abusive situations, the part of him that develops empathy, the part of him that can see you as your own person, the part of him that could see you as separate from himself, that part is underdeveloped. It's stuck at about 4 years old. And a 4-year-old cannot see anything outside of his own experience. He can't see that somebody else's experience is going to be different from his own. So if the 4-year-old is not getting what he wants at the moment, you're mean. If the 4-year-old is not getting what he wants, whether it's good for him or not, or whether it interferes with your needs or not, you are the world's worst mother. Same thing here. Same thing here. So that maturity, that has just never developed. And part of it, nature versus nurture, and also how much of it is from trauma in childhood, how much of it is just conditioned from society that sort of teaches us right now that women are an F of X, that women are a function of him, and just growing up in that, that's why it's easier for us also to slip into that and to fall into that with these types of men. So, super geeky way of looking at it, but part of the abuse recovery, the growing and maturing and moving out of this and really reclaiming who we are has to be with stop being a function. We have to stop being a function of somebody else, and we have to just be our own variable. Just be a me. Just be a me. Not a function of that. Be a me that can exist. This can exist as itself no matter what's going on here. It doesn't have to change. It doesn't have to react. It doesn't have to respond. And the children also need to be their own variables. Not all tied together with only this having any control, and everything else is just this crazy chain reaction that trickles down. Everybody in the family gets to be their own variable.